Hey guys, this is Kevin from JazTime.com, and today we'll be doing a comparison between two different day dates. On my left here we have the older style, very vintage model, Rolex Day-Date 36, reference number 18038, and we'll be comparing it to the newer style Day-Date, recently released in 2015, the Rolex Day-Date 40, and that's reference number 228238. We'll be going over the price, the dials, bezel, case, crown, bracelet, clasp, and we'll talk about the movement towards the end of the video. Alright, so as of August 2017, you're looking at, for the Day-Date 36, you're looking at a market value of around $10,000, as there is no retail pricing, as this watch has been discontinued for quite some time now. And for the newer model, the Day-Date 40, you're looking at a retail pricing from a Rolex authorized dealer for $34,850, or you can come to our website at JazTime.com and get it for as low as $26,000. Okay. So before I start, I just want to mention that these two day dates I have in my hand, they're about 45 years apart. So we're going to be taking a look at the different types of just the differences between the two watches, as the 36 was released around the 1980s, whereas this, like as I mentioned before with the Day-Date 40, you're looking was recently released in 2015. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the dials. The dials, both of them are sort of a sunburst dial, but it's more prominent on the Day-Date 40 now. As you can see, as I tilt it sort of a little bit towards the light, you can see those sort of gleams much more on the Day-Date 40, opposed to the Day-Date 36. It still kind of keeps, it sort of seems like a flat coloring, but the sunburst is actually there. Okay. Besides that, let's take a look at the hour markers. The hour markers are both 18 karat yellow gold. However, there's a difference between the hour markers and the hands for both models. Specifically for the Day-Date 36, we're looking at 18 karat yellow gold hands with luminous tips. As you can see, the little white stripes on the tips of the minute and the hour hand, along with little small squares of luminosity at each edge of the index markers. That's changed in the Day-Date 40. If you were to get the Day-Date 40 in an index markers, the markers themselves would actually be luminous filled, so the markers themselves would be would glow in the dark for approximately about up to 8 hours. Okay. One thing to mention is that the Day-Date 40 does come in different colors in terms of dial configuration. So you can get it in the champagne, which I have in my hand here, or you can get it in white for the Roman hour markers. But if you're looking for the index markers that look similar to this, you're looking at champagne, silver, or black dial. Okay. All right. So another difference is along the edge of the dial. Along the edge of the dial, you can kind of see that there's Roman numerals right behind each index marker, just printed behind it, whereas the track around the edge is just a simple scale for the Day-Date 40. Okay. Besides that, we still have the crown at the 12 o'clock position, text as well right underneath. As you can see, Oyster Perpetual Day-Date at the 12 o'clock position, right underneath that crown. At the 6 o'clock position, still superlative chronometer officially certified. We have the Swiss made in different locations. Swiss made is in the actual track itself on the Day-Date 40, whereas the Day-Date 36, you can kind of see it right above that 6 Roman numeral. Okay. We still have the Cyclops lens as well for magnification, easier viewing of that date. All right. One other noticeable difference to mention is what's called the rehot. So let me go ahead and turn it over to the side. Let's see if we can get close up here. So if you can see along the edge of the wall of the Day-Date 40, you kind of see that Rolex name being engraved all around the sides. That rehot wasn't introduced until 2006. So the Day-Date 36 does not have that. As you can see, it's just a solid flat gold wall, whereas the Day-Date 40 has that Rolex name engraved all around there. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it for the dials. They pretty much kept the dial almost the same over the years. So As you can see, it's very noticeable if you just immediately, at a glance look, you immediately tell that these watches are day-dates. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the bezel now. The bezel, same type of bezel, just a fixed 18 karat yellow gold fluted bezel. As you can see, very nice, very shiny. Okay, moving on to the case. The case you're looking at, as the name states, this one is a 36mm case here on my left, and it's a 40mm case on my right here. Okay, so a little bit larger case size. The main difference between the two cases, besides the size, you're looking at a brushed gold on the left here, whereas the right side we're looking at a nice high polish on the lugs. As you can see, there's a nice high polish on the lugs on the Day-Date 40, where it's just a brushed gold on the Day-Date 36, and that's on the top and the bottom. Another thing is that the lugs are more rounded as well on the Day-Date 36, as you can see at the very tips. Or rather, it's the Day-Date 40. Okay. All right, besides that, let's go ahead and show the sides of the case. All right. So, there we are. So, you're going to be looking at, obviously, a little bit larger case size, as stated. We have that nice high polish along this on the side of the case. Travels very nicely along with the side. This is a bracelet as well. You can already notice the difference with the bracelet sides. So you can see there's a high polish on the side of the president links, as you can see on the Day-Date 40, whereas the Day-Date 36 has just a brushed gold on the sides. Okay. Another thing to mention is that the profiles of the watches, the 40 is going to be a little bit bigger, and that's mainly due to the movement, as I'll go ahead and mention as we move on to the next side with the crown. So we have the same high polish again, nice all the way throughout for the 40, whereas it's brushed gold for the 36. The Rolex crown on the crown itself. The reason for the little bit larger case size on the Day-Date 40 is because of the additional complication they added to it. So with the old Day-Date 36, it has what's called a single quick set, which is a single quick set, and the Day-Date 40 has what's called a double quick set, which was introduced around 1990s. So a little bit 10 years apart, a different mechanism was added to the movement. And actually, I'll go ahead and demonstrate that now. So with the crowns, just go ahead, unscrewed counterclockwise. Okay. Okay, so counterclockwise pops open the crown. They're screw down twin lock double waterproofness systems. You're looking at a water resistance of 100 meters or 330 feet. Okay, so in this first position, this is the position in which you can wind the watch. So just going clockwise, you can wind the watch 20 to 30 times, no more, as you might put too much tension in the movement, you might damage it. But this is where the difference between the single set and the double quick set lies. So a simple tug of the crown will put you in the second position, and the difference here is basically you'll be able to change the date on the 36 just by going counterclockwise, as shown. So you see, as we go counterclockwise, you see that date just quickly changing. Going clockwise doesn't change the date. And for the Day-Date 40, this is what it means to be a double quick set. So going counterclockwise, there we go, changes the date. But then going counterclockwise changes the day itself. So basically the difference between the single quick set and double quick set, you're able to change the day at the 12 o'clock position using the crown at the second position. As we move on to the third position, that stops the second time on both the watches for precise time setting, as you'll be able to set the time exactly to such things as an atomic clock online. You can set it down to the exact seconds to keep track. However, the difference here is that as I mentioned, you're able to change the day at the 12 o'clock position with the Day-Date 40. For the Day-Date 36, you'll have to do a revolution of the watch. As you see, as we keep going. So I'm going to have to put this Day-Date 40 down to demonstrate this. Okay, so see, it's changed to Saturday. It takes 2 full revolutions, of course, 24-hour period, to change the day once. And one more revolution here, and we should be able to change it from Saturday to Sunday. And there we are. So that's the difference between the single set and the double quick set. All right, so always, after you set the time, make sure you screw the crown nice and tight in against the case, as you want to keep the watch water resistant. Okay. Press it in, go ahead, nice and tight. All right, so that's the difference between the single quick set and the double quick set. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the bracelet now. So the bracelet is a special bracelet specifically for the Day-Date. It's called the President style bracelet. Looks very similar to the Jubilee bracelet that Rolex normally has, which is a 5-piece link bracelet. However, this is just a 3-piece link bracelet with satin finish on the gold links on the outer edges, on the outer parts, while the center portion of the links are nicely high polished to give a nice contrast and add more shine to the watch. As I mentioned earlier, you can see that difference on the side of the President links. The brushed gold on the 36 or the 40 has nice high polish on the side, and that's on the other side as well. Okay. One major difference between the two bracelets is the style of the links. Specifically, the 36 has what's called the hollowed style link, while the Day-Date 40 has what's called the solid filled links or solid links, and that wasn't introduced until around the 2000s. And it's a really important thing to mention, mainly because I actually can demonstrate this to you very easily. So a hollow links, the little bar in the center of the links that hold the links together, it's hollow, meaning that there's a little space between them. And over time, you get kind of this stretch in this bracelet. As you can kind of see, as I wiggle the bracelet around, that stretch is done over time. As you can see there, whereas the newer style Day-Date has what's called solid filled, so the links have no wiggle room to move, and you can kind of see as I try to wiggle it, it stays that same shape. So there was no room for those links to have that ability to stretch out. So this bracelet will pretty much stay the same throughout its lifetime now. So that's one of the most important things about the difference between the two bracelets. The next thing, as we move on to the clasps now, we still have this concealed folding crown clasp is located by the Rolex logo, but you'll notice a huge difference between the two as I pop that open. So, all right, there we are. So the older style concealed folding clasp, you can see, is just very simple, very thin 18 karat yellow gold clasp blades. That's just brushed yellow gold. Very simple, very plain. Whereas the newer style Day-Date 40, we have this beautiful high polished clasp blades with the Rolex name embossed onto the clasp blade itself there. Okay. So the years that they changed this to was back in 2003. They actually changed it to this style of clasp for the Day-Date. However, it wasn't a full brush polish, high polish yet. It actually used to be a sandblasted finish in the center with the Rolex name embossed on there. And they only recently changed it in 2016 that the center of the clasp blade is also a high polish. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the movement now as we move on. So here are the two case backings that we're looking at here. You can see a little difference in the case backing. As you can see there, they're both oyster case backings. However, just very minor differences. Let me see if I can get a better angle here. As you can see, that fluted portion of it is much thinner, where the case backing on the 40 is a little bit more raised. The flutedness a little bit more prominent. Specifically for the movement, we're looking at, of course, a movement that's been made 45 years apart, and I specifically say 45 years because the Day-Date 40s movement was introduced with its unveil as well. So what are the differences between the two movements? So for the Day-Date 36 on my left, or rather, let's talk about the similarities first. So they're both bidirectional self-winding movements, in-house made by Rolex. They're both COSC certified with precision of -2 + 2 seconds a day. And you have the functions of the hour, minutes, and seconds hand with a stopping at the seconds hand. Like I said, single quick set for the Day-Date 36, but double quick set for the Day-Date 40. The differences between the movement, however, lies in just the smaller parts of it. So for the hairsprings, we're looking at a Breguet hairsprings on the Day-Date 36, whereas the Day-Date 40 has a blue parachrome hairspring, which is an in-house made hairspring made by Rolex that has more magnetic resistance. The shock absorbers, you're looking at KIF shock absorbers on the Day-Date 36. And then the Day-Date 40, you're looking at the in-house made Paraflex shock absorbers, which Rolex claims about 50% more shock absorption than the KIF. And then they recently added an additional thing to the Day-Date 40s movement, which is the 3255 movement, which is the chronology escapement, which is a skeletonized escape wheel that has that Rolex claims about a 15% gain in efficiency from transmitting energy from the wheel to the lever and to the balance itself. Okay, the power reserve of these watches, you're looking at a 48-hour power reserve on the 36 compared to a 70-hour power reserve on the Day-Date 40. Okay. I do apologize, I did not mention the movement numbers. The Day-Date 36 is a 30-55 movement, whereas the Day-Date 40 is a 32-55 movement. You can pretty much tell which year a Day-Date is from just based on the movement alone, as the older style ones are the 30-55s, and then as we move on to other reference numbers in the center, which is like the 118, starting with the 118, they're 31-55 movements, and then the newer release was in 2015, which is the 32-55 movement. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get these watches on my wrist and give you a quick show how they look like. So once again, just a very simple crown deployment, concealed folding crown clasp. Go ahead and place that on here. Snaps right in. And there's the watch there. So, even though it's a 45-year-old watch, still looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead with the Day-Date 40 now. All right, and there's the Day-Date 40 on my wrist. Okay. All right, so if you're interested in any of these models for the lowest possible price, check out our website at JazTime.com. We have the lowest prices guaranteed, and we offer a 1-year warranty. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at JazTime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.